Now I'm sure you're all wondering, what is the best minimal tactical item that you can add to your everyday carry? And that is the folding hair comb kit. Well, let's get serious for a second. Now, as I'm sure you've guessed, this of course is about clickbait and just generally speaking, terms that are used in the everyday carry world that are just bad words, like tactical. This is not a great word to use to describe much of anything because there is no consensus on what that word actually means. If you look at the definition, it hasn't been related to what we see on the market very much at all. Does it mean functional? Does it mean aggressive? Does it mean powerful? Does it mean tough? Who knows? And that's part of the problem. What it is, however, is a major attractor to a lot of people for specific purposes. So you can have items that you can use in different situations, but they may not fall under the quote-unquote tactical terminology. And that really bothers me. Because I frankly need clear definitions. They're very helpful to me when I go to search for something and I'm looking for something to fill in my everyday carry. But the term tactical doesn't mean all that much to me, anyway. And that drives us into the next bad word of EDC, the best. The best! The best! The best! Yeah. It's used a little too much, and it is one of the most subjective terms. Anything that is a superlative that goes the greatest, the brightest, the sharpest, the meanest, the toughest, the ugliest, the handsomest. All of those words, they're just subjective viewpoints of the individual. And I am guilty of using this term in the past, and I do regret it. So I'm hoping this will also be a video to hold me accountable in the future. If I ever find myself using these words, or you hear me use these words, please mention it to me. Yes, I want you to call me on it. This is not a good way to explain your viewpoint on a product. And I'm hoping that it's something that people will refrain from doing. It's a little bit too salesman. You know, you're trying to sell something. I think we've all experienced that. Now, the next term that I see a lot, now it's not related to everything, but you hear it from time to time, and that's minimalist. That has become synonymous with making us feel better about having something that is smaller, and in my opinion, just means inconvenient a lot of times. If you look at some of the quote-unquote minimalist wallets, they all require you to fold a piece of cash 3 to 4 times. Okay, I guess if you never carry cash, that's great. But does it mean that, or could it mean something like, oh, I don't know, having all of your stuff in one place, having really small items that are very efficient? And that's kind of the problem too. We don't have clear definitions, not even in the context of wallets, which is where it's used the most. The most? Is that a superlative? Well, it is used the most in this case. But you get my point here. I'm hoping that this video will just clarify one thing, that if you watch any review, including one of mine, and you hear words like this, take them kind of with a grain of salt. There's probably some great content in those videos, things that you can use to discern whether you want to buy that thing or not. But just because it's called tactical, or minimalist, or the best, the best, I would suggest maybe looking a little bit deeper. So that's all for today. Just a little food for thought. before you go and look at your next review of whatever item that happens to be, maybe not even in the EDC world, just consider what was said here. And I hope you enjoy. Have a good night.
Tactical. Yeah. It's not that cool, trust me.